Thank you, Chair, and for those thoughtful words, both about loss and the tenacity of our detectives, which often shines through time and again. Conscious today that there's a lot to get through in the report. I'm just hearing some crackling there, the sound quality.
Try again. My mic, yeah.
So just a few bits to highlight to you. Firstly, referencing where we are on the cusp of Christmas. Yesterday saw the launch of Operation Season's Greetings. We talk about that in the report. Wendy Middleton sort of began the launch yesterday. You'll see key themes in the report, but effectively it's about increased visibility, prevention, enforcement in terms of safer streets, safer homes, and generally safer places in the run-up to Christmas. And there'll be sort of daily updates in terms of operational activity, principally through social media as we run up to Christmas. The second issue is some updates in relation to the recruitment campaign. Obviously, we've held it for some time now, this latest launch to bring in 400 officers into the organisation over the next few months. The last campaign actually finalised at 5,311 applicants. In terms of the overall numbers, that's down on the previous campaign. We've done some work here to assess the why, and many members, I think, will recognise the fact that the economy is buoyant and many employers are struggling to recruit at the moment. Certainly vacancies from the work we've done would seem to be at a 5-year high, and we reflect that in part of the application decisions, as well as starting pay when you look at some of the changes in the economy. Interestingly, and I think this is significant, that the characteristics of people that have applied is unchanged from last time. You'll see when we release the figures, there is sort of on each sort of type, whether it's male, female, Catholic, Protestant, etc., slight and subtle differences in this space of 0.1% here or there. But it is really interesting that nothing has moved up or down in the period of time. We've taken over 1,000 applications direct off social media and the work we did there. We saw a reach, for example, on Twitter of over 600,000 views, 700,000 on Facebook. A quarter of the applications then came in off our website. And then we held 134 pop-up events in those communities that people would sometimes have concern where we're not as visible and accessible. And I think that was a tribute to the work, really hard work the neighbourhood teams did, coordinated by Mel, who's in the meeting today. I think the stark message that falls out of it, though, for us is how you juxtapose the recruitment numbers, where we're still pleased with the overall volumes, against our financial outlook. We've talked before about the need to grow the organisation to 7,100 officers, and we will have made offer letters for January, and we'll probably get there for February, given the length of time. But we are concerned with our budgeted position that if it's not rationalised quickly, that we will not be able to bring further officers in March and beyond, simply because of the need to be able to balance the budget in the following year, given some of the scenarios that we're facing. So my plea today really is for cross-party support to make sure that we get adequate funding to keep the officer numbers at the level we've been promised historically, so that we continue to do our piece to fight crime and protect communities. Obviously, here in that theme, to welcome Graham for the first time here today. As you said, Chair, the work to fight crime continues. We already saw at the start of the week another significant seizure at Larne, which is now in process, so I won't say much more of that, but clearly our determination, both as a single agency, but working with partners like Graham's colleagues, to frustrate the attempts to peddle drugs on our streets continues apace. A standout feature of the reporting from both of us this time is the scale of child internet abuse, which we'll no doubt come on to later. In our reporting period, we've conducted 25 searches as a result of referrals from the National Crime Agency, and that's led to 14 charges. Last time we spoke about the inquest into the tragic death of Noah Donoghue, and it's just to update members that we continue to engage with the coroner to see how we can support his work to bring matters to a conclusion about what's relevant to the hearing and reduce delay all we can. You mentioned before, Chair, and I welcome that support, about the changing nature of the COVID regulations. Alan Todd has been working tirelessly with colleagues at the Executive Office and the Department of Justice to make sure that regulations are enforceable, and we can update that as the meeting progresses. And again, appreciate the nod, as it were, to our efforts led by Detective Chief Superintendent Manelli to publish our first strategy in relation to male violence against women and girls. And again, can do detailed questions on that. It's a point of note that homicides are down so far this year by half, but obviously one death is one too many. And again, we may well take further questions. It's an opportunity as well to look forward to new appointments next month. We welcome the board support on that, and also my chance to offer publicly my thanks to Sam and Mella who are here today for the last time in their temporary roles as assistant chiefs, as other colleagues will return from the command course in a few weeks and take back those places. But I know they've worked really hard to fill that gap and can keep momentum. One of Sam's legacies will be the new uniform, which is still due for issue next month, probably towards the end of January, but we're confident we have orders placed and supplies in chain now. And I think that's suffice for me to hand over to Graham for a few words, conscious of time, Chair.